In the new episode of Sports Nation, we will visit the legendary ice rink Medel. We will talk to the Kazakhstan's figure skating champion Aiza Imambek. At the end of the episode, we will talk about the Kurbanov twin brothers who devoted themselves to gymnastics. Friends, look at the beautiful scenery around you. The air is so clean, so fresh. Welcome to the legendary arena in Kazakhstan, the high mountain skating rink Medel. Its history goes back to 1972. Since then, many world records have been set here. In Soviet times, the arena was called the Record Factory, all thanks to the fact that they still use the pure mountain water to fill up the rink. Today, we're doing a review of the legendary arena. Let's go! The unique ice rink Medel, located in a picturesque area, has always attracted tourists, and at the same time, it is still the training center for speed skating. It started 50 years ago. The project cost over 8 million rubles, while only 3 million rubles could be allocated from the Republican budget. That is why it had to be approved by the head of the Republic, Muhammad Kunaev. Local experts say that wind is always light here and there is an optimal level of solar radiation and low pressure. Medel, what makes it unique? First of all, we are located at an altitude of 1,690 meters above sea level.
Приезжают спортсмены, многие из этих спортсменов приехали сюда впервые, это молодые, конечно же, ребята.
Many athletes come here for the first time. They just start to understand that the ice here can change their speed and technique.
Менять скорость, менять их технику.
How thick is the ice now? At the moment, it is about 5-6 centimeters. At what depth are all the pipes?
Ну, они как бы погружены.
They are at a depth of 10 centimeters. There's a concrete mass there. The length of these pipes under the ice is about 170 kilometers. The total length of pipes is 170 kilometers. Almost unbelievable. The ice rink is huge. Its area is almost 11,000 square meters, and it's also a record. It is the biggest artificial ice rink in the world. There is meter-thick concrete underneath, with sensors monitoring the temperature. All the information is forwarded to the control center. We are in the center of our ice rink. These are the refrigeration units. We use ethylene glycol, which takes the heat from the concrete mass, and then it comes in here, cools down and goes back to the field. Medel is believed to be the fastest skating ice. It explains the incredible number of records. Why is it the fastest ice? The reason is simple. The ice is made from the water of the Malaya Almaty river. So friends, my dream has come true. We're taking our nice hockey skates and going to test the ice of ice rink Medel. Friends, I'm not an expert to assess the quality of the ice. I can say it is very slippery and you need to make an effort just to stop and not move. There seem to be a lot of people like me here. Mass skating takes place regularly. The ice is available to everyone. In 2014, 500 people were on the ice at the same time. This event entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. We often come here every week this winter. We are retired and we like that it's all free for the retired. So we're starting the second life here. I usually come here in the morning. It's warmer here than in Almaty, and people are cheerful and nice. You can have a talk. The thickness of ice here varies. For mass skating, it's 10 centimeters. For athletes training, it's about 15 centimeters. But Medel is not just an ice rink. There are stands around which can accommodate about 8,000 spectators. In the picture, people see the ice and the stands, but there are not just the ice and the stands. What is there inside? Right now, we are under the western stand. Here we have a public area, a skate hire zone. We have made a passage from the stand to the second floor. We coordinated it with one of the chief architects who built the skating ring in 1972. Our management discussed it with him. We got his approval. Medel experienced 2 large-scale reconstructions during its history, which allowed it to successfully host the Asian Games in 2011 and the Universiade in 2017. Every year it hosts the Kazakhstan Speed Skating Championships and sometimes such exotic tournaments as the Speedway World Cup. From our conversations, it seems to me that the arena is going through some tough times right now. We're trying to rebuild the arena now, we're upgrading the equipment, our approach to work, and we're using new technologies. I hope that it will give positive results in the future and we will be able to host serious competitions. The coronavirus pandemic and the cancellation of major competitions have impacted the rink. It has become less busy, but they hope that soon they will host an international tournament at a high level, as usual. First of all, Medel represents history and long-standing sports traditions. Next in the episode, there's a big interview with Aiza Imambek. We will talk about the end of her professional career, music, and the new stage of life. Kazakhstani women's figure skating is our pride. Never before have figure skating clubs been so popular, and our female athletes have been so famous. The star of our episode is Aiza Imambek. She is the champion of Kazakhstan, a participant in the Pyeongchang Olympics, and her skating inspires people in our country and abroad. We are now in Almaty, where she is coaching, and she is available to answer all our questions. Let's learn her success story. Aiza started figure skating when she was 4 years old. During her career, she won the Kazakhstan championship several times and represented the country at high-level competitions, including the Universiade, the Asian Games, and the Olympics. To the surprise of many, at age 21, she decided to quit professional sports and switch to coaching. The big news that surprised us was that you ended your career. As far as I understand, this is your final decision. What was the reason?
Я думаю, да, это окончательное решение уже.
I believe this is the final decision. The reason is the health condition. There were a lot of problems that accumulated from year to year. It was already impossible to skate. There were not only physical, but also moral problems.
Но это и моральное.
How do you feel now?
Что-то есть.
I still have some health issues. If it were possible, I would continue skating with pleasure. I would love to make my family, relatives, and fans happy. Thanks a lot for their support. They still remember me, they ask questions and take interest in me. It's a real honor for me.
Делают комплименты. Для меня это настоящее признание.
How did your family react? Did they fully support you? Did they push you to make the decision?
Меня не подталкивали. Папа до последнего хотел, чтобы я выступала, сказал, что ты сильная, ты пробьешься. Надо немножко.
They didn't push me. My dad wanted me to perform to the very last moment. He said I was strong and that I would make it. He told me to be patient, to wait for the 2022 Olympics. I understood that young athletes were just behind me. My body is no longer the same. My condition is not good.
Которые будут мне каждый день мешать. Одно не такое неловкое движение.
I've had a lot of injuries and they bother me every day. One awkward move and you could be crippled for life. At that moment, I was depressed. I suffered from an upset stomach. I remember this with my tears in my eyes. It was horrible. My mom supported my decision and then my dad supported me too. After that, I was relieved. We were going to it for a very long time.
Мама и папа поддержал. И после этого я выдохнула, конечно. К этому шли мы очень долго.
You had a difficult period before the Olympics. You had a serious injury. You were recovering. This was the first Olympics in your career. How did you get through that period?
Это в истории первый случай, когда от Казахстана попадают две женщины.
It was the first time in history when 2 women from Kazakhstan participated in the Olympics. When you train all your life, you understand that this is one chance in a million. I just pulled myself together, gathered all my strength. It was incredibly difficult to recover. I had a metatarsal fracture in my right foot. I listened to my coaches, who told me it was not worth rushing. They said that I remembered everything, that I had muscle memory, and that I would recover. They told me that the main thing was my health. I followed their recommendations. Of course, my performance at the Olympics was not the best, but in that situation, it was not the worst.
Но в той ситуации это был очень даже неплохой вариант.
It is not usual to see you as a coach. When did you start coaching?
Это произошло с этого нового сезона, с августа.
I started in August. I officially switched to coaching because I needed to work off my grant from the Academy of Sports and Tourism. Now I have to work in a state organization for 3 years.
В официальной организации, в государственной организации.
How is it to work with children?
Я хотела стать тренером с самого детства. Меня очень вдохновляли мои собственные тренера. Я очень заряжалась их энергетикой.
I've wanted to be a coach since I was a kid. I was very inspired by my coaches. I dreamed that I would be energized by them and help them. Now I help my coaches. We meet together very often, almost every day. We discuss some technical points. The most important thing is the feedback from the kids. They must follow your instructions so they can perform at their best. The main problem of all coaches is when children do not perceive them as coaches. Sometimes children think you're just their friend. They try to play with you. You have to raise your tone. It's a necessary weapon to be perceived, to make them follow your instructions, fulfill all the requirements.
Необходимое оружие для того, чтобы тебя начали воспринимать правильно, слушаться, выполнять все твои требования.
Does your status as an honored athlete influence them? Yes, the kids often tell me that they've seen my performance, my interviews, and it inspires me, boosts me. I try to invest even more in my new career. Would you say that figure skating took something away from you, maybe your childhood?
Детство однозначно не отняло.
No, it didn't take away my childhood. We discussed many topics with my dad, especially my childhood. I remember my peers who just sat in the courtyard and ate sunflower seeds, and I think that I had a great childhood.
У меня было просто такое классное детство.
What's the most emotional memory from your performances that sticks in your memory?
Со светлой улыбкой на лице вспоминаю момент, когда я катала.
With a bright smile on my face, I remember the moment when I skated the free skating program at the Universiade in 2017. The audience exploded. I thought my eardrums would rupture. It was terrific when 12,000 people were screaming my name. I just didn't think our people could be so warm and supportive.
Я просто не думала, что наш народ может так тепло, горячо поддерживать.
Many experts mention the elegance of your skating. They say it is a subtle art. When you choose the music, are there any outside advisors or do you do everything yourself?
Мне всю жизнь всегда помогал папа.
My dad has been helping me all my life. We have a tradition to prepare any program we want, and the second program should be with Kazakh themes. One season a short program can be with Kazakh themes, another season it can be a free program. In any case, one of them must have Kazakh themes. My dad has always been helping me. He prepares the music himself, he chooses it himself. He can put two compositions into one. My dad is a professor at TK Jurgenov Kazakh National Academy of Arts. He used to be the rector, now he's giving online lectures. He stays at home all the time. I almost don't see him because of my schedule. Figure skating and Kazakh cues go very well together. Where does your love for music come from? How much of a fan of Kazakh melody are you? My mother is an educated musician. She graduated from a music college in St. Petersburg. She is a pianist. She used to play the piano for me when I was a kid. After that, my dad decided that besides figure skating, I could also take dombra classes. I finished 5 dombra classes. I also took piano classes. I still don't know the notes, but I have a good music perception. When I played the dombra, I listened to others, and I could repeat the music myself. It is all thanks to my father. It was his initiative.
Это все тоже с детства, это все благодаря папе, это его инициатива была.
Do you often follow Kazakh pop music? We have many singers who are popular in the CIS. Could you name the top 3 singers? I can mention Dada Tunes, The Dude on the Guitar, MD, Limba. There are a lot of them. I listen to all of them. In general, which person from Kazakhstan inspires you?
Кто из казахстанцев вдохновляет? Меня просто безумно вдохновлял Денис.
I was madly inspired by Denis. I was lucky to communicate with him personally, so I'm happy to say it. He was such a versatile person that sometimes I couldn't even believe it. He was talented in everything. He read many books. It was very interesting to talk with him. Once he walked in, he was the center of everybody's attention. It came naturally. It is such a loss for people. We miss him very much. You see the situation in children's figure skating now. Do we have a great future? Now I can say that we have. Our kids are very strong. They're starting to jump double jumps, which is not usual for their age. For example, we didn't do that at their age. They train a lot. They have at least 2 training sessions on ice, choreography, and physical exercise. The intense training influences a lot. I think they're on the right track. What do you think is the main problem of figure skating in Kazakhstan? There are many factors. We lack ice, we lack general physical training, we lack equipment. There is also the unwillingness of children, parents. They lack an understanding of how serious it is. If you are an athlete, you should give 200% in this sport. Then there will be a result. What is patriotism for you? I always start a dialogue in Kazakh. That is, if you live in the country, you should speak the state language. If the person does not understand you, you can easily switch to a language that he/she understands. I believe that this is also patriotism. Aiza, you went to Kazakh school and you continued to study in Kazakh at university. You went to Kazakh kindergarten. When did you have time to learn Russian? My mother is Russian. She was born in Leningrad. It has always been quite difficult to communicate in our family. I spoke to my dad in Kazakh, I spoke to my mom in Russian, but my mother learned a couple of phrases. Sometimes we communicate in Kazakh. How did your mother and father get acquainted? My father came to study in St. Petersburg. He noticed my mother there. They got acquainted, they communicated for a long time. Later, he brought her to Almaty. Then I was born. What are the qualities of the man you want to marry? I just didn't have enough time. I think he should be understanding. It's because of my work. I cannot sit at home, that's for sure. He can be Kazakh, he can be of another nationality. The main thing is that we should communicate on the same wavelength. We should understand each other's jokes and be two halves. Now you are retired from professional sports. Is there anyone who is coming to replace you? Who would you call potential champions?
Я сейчас вижу, да, очень многих. Все пытаются покорять.
I see a lot of people right now. Everyone is trying to take the first place. I would like to mention Maria Grichanная. She's #1 in Kazakhstan right now. Our #2 is Ajar Jumakhanova. Last year, when I took first place at the Kazakhstan Championship, she was the second. Among the boys, I would like to mention Mikhail Shaidorov. He is lucky. He trains under the guidance of Alexei Urmanov in Sochi. He manages the most difficult quadruple jumps. I can see where he is going. I believe in him. You have a strategic vision. It's important for a coach. I think that's your profession. I wish you success and big achievements in your new career. Thank you very much. Next in the episode, we will tell you the story of Husanjan and Hasanjan Kurbanov, who work at the Almaty School of Artistic Gymnastics. Meet Nariman Kurbanov, one of the leaders of Kazakhstan's men's gymnastics team. He continues his family traditions. His father and uncle, who used to be successful gymnasts, brought him to the sport. Hasanjan and Husanjan Kurbanov are twin brothers who are easy to mix up. During their coaching career, they brought up many champions and continue their mission in one of Almaty's sports schools. They are always together. When we were in the 2nd grade, the coach came and invited us to the gymnastics class. We joined the class, and since then, since 1969, we have been doing gymnastics. They even wanted to separate us somehow in the army, but the law was such that brothers should not be separated, especially twin brothers. When they came to the gymnastics club, they had no idea that they joined this sport once and for all. They said they just wanted to be strong and agile. Artistic gymnastics is a sport that helps develop flexibility, strength, and endurance. The perfect age to begin is 5 years old. Mainly boys join artistic gymnastics, girls do rhythmic gymnastics. Athletes are trained in several disciplines: vaulting, gymnastics apparatus, floor exercise. These sports develop muscles, a strong body, and make people disciplined. In my opinion, gymnastics is the foundation for any sport. Any gymnast, even an average one, can switch to swimming, weightlifting, acrobatics. Gymnastic experience will help to make great progress very quickly. It gives strength, coordination, flexibility, stretching. We develop all these qualities. Even when children do karate, their parents come and ask to stretch. Kazakhstan School of Gymnastics was always famous for its staff. In different years, Nelly Kim, Valery Lukin, Vladimir Novikov became Olympic champions. The Kurbanov brothers are representatives of that talented generation. They were invited to be circus acrobats. They were promised a times bigger salary, but they chose a coaching job. And today, they are always ready to help each other, just as many years ago during a student session. For example, he passed the exam, he did well in philosophy, he got the highest grades. I got a satisfactory grade. The teacher didn't like my result. I asked my brother to pass the exam for me. He passed. And I took the track and field exam for him. I was taller. That's how we substituted each other. It worked that way a lot of times. Today we're going to Almaty region, where the star of our episode, Aiza Imambek, created such beauty. Turning blue.
Tell me love is endless, don't be so pretentious. Like you do. If you need